really just because I'm super like nerdy math teacher and I love these things. And it's really going to be the first time that we're going to do Algebra 2 material, which is also really exciting for me. So what we're going to do today is we are going to use elimination to solve 3x3s. Okay, and what that means is your warm-up, this is what's called a 2x2. 2 equations, 2 variables. So a 3x3, 3 equations, 3 variables, we're going to have x, y, and z. Oh, we will do a 3x3 in just a minute, but I'm going to do steps with you first. And I'm telling you right now, if you had no problems with elimination, you're going to be fine. But they take longer, and they're a little more work. But I'm going to also say, like, slow yourself down. Make sure you check every little step. Because if you get halfway through and mess everything up, then it's going to be messy and gross. So yeah, Robin.
Can you draw 3-dimensional grid for me?
Not right now.
Off the whiteboard?
Not right now. But really, that's what it is. A 3x3 is 3-dimensional. That's exactly what Robin's saying. It's on the x, y, and z plane. And so if we were to draw 3 lines in that plane, they would just be like off in space, connecting at one spot where x, y, and z are. Okay, so Robin, I'm actually really glad you brought that up. I don't have the tools right now to do that, but yes. So, using elimination for 3x3s is just going to be 2x2s, but longer. Okay, so not too bad if you have elimination down. If you don't have elimination down, you might struggle. And that means please come in and get help. All right, so steps. Step 1 is you are going to pick 2 of the 3 equations and we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to say eliminate x. You don't always have to eliminate x, but we talked about this last time where we said if you like to do the same thing every time and stick with it, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to pick 2 equations and eliminate x. Step 2 is we're going to pick 2 different equations and also eliminate x.
Kill x.
Yep. So pick 2 equations, eliminate x. Pick 2 different equations, eliminate x. At this point, for step 3, you now are going to have a 2x2 like you did in the warm-up. Okay, and you'll see it when we do an example. Promise. So now, step 3 is solve the 2x2 for y and z. Step 4 is use y and z in an original equation to find x. Okay, so step 4 is use y and z in an original equation to find x.
What do you mean pick 2 different equations?
So you picked, for the first one, you picked 2 equations. Let's say the top and the middle. For the next step, you're going to pick 2 different equations than the top and the middle. So maybe you pick the top and the bottom, or the middle and the bottom.
I thought you meant like equations that have.
That also. You just don't want the same two that you've already dealt with. Is that better? Okay. All right, step 5. Write your answer or the solution as a point. And points always go in alphabetical order. So we're going to do X, comma, Y, comma, Z. And then last but not least, we are going to, and just because we have 3 equations, we're going to triple check the solution. So we're going to plug it in to all 3 equations to make sure it works. And the reason I love 3x3 so much, number 1, they are challenging, and I like a challenge. But number 2, they are like so satisfying when you get an answer that works. It is going to make you so happy. Okay, when it doesn't work, okay, it's frustrating. But then that idea of perseverance and willingness to keep trying kicks in, and then you just got to be like, oh, well, it didn't work, and you try it again. But if you are very careful, and if you take your time, they're not too bad. I'm never going to say they're easy, because they're not. But take your time, go slow, it'll be all right. Okay, you ready to try one? Come on, yes! It's going to be fun. Okay, ready, here we go. Okay. So make sure the first step is make sure you copy it down correctly. I will tell you, like 9 times out of 10 when I get these wrong, and yes, I get these wrong, it happens, it's because I've written them down incorrectly. So before you start, before you jump in, double check signs, double check numbers, make sure everything is really, really correct before you jump in and start solving. I'm going to wait just a second, make sure everybody has it before I go into this thing. Does anybody like look at this problem and go, like a little bit? That's okay. Yeah, Ben does. See? That's okay. We're going to make it simpler by eliminating some things. Okay, so we're going to pick 2 equations. It does not matter what 2 equations you pick. If you like that consistency, then always pick the top 2 and then always do the bottom 2. Okay? It does not matter at all though. Hayden.
Just for this problem, it's also easier to do the top one and the bottom one because their x's are already the same, so you just have to multiply it by -1.
Right, so Hayden brought up something that some people are starting to recognize. Right? Some people are starting to recognize easierness in terms, yeah, I made up a word, in terms of figuring out what to multiply by. So Hayden's already recognizing that, but if you're not, that's okay. That's all right. So again, if you want to stick with the same thing every time, let's just do the top 2 equations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top 2 equations and I'm going to write them separately. And this is going to help me stay super organized, which is another key component of doing these problems. Find a way to stay organized. And again, I'm going to kind of pull these over here. And then one of the things that I noticed was kind of a problem for some people was forgetting to multiply all the way through. What's up, Jocelyn? Yes, but hurry back because you don't want to miss this. All right, so that's going to give me 2x plus 4y plus 6z equals 18. And then the bottom one is just going to be 2x plus 6y plus 4z equals 10. If I add straight down, do they eliminate? No, so what do I gotta do now? Go ahead, Pilar. Yeah, I can multiply the bottom one by -1. And like I said, some of you are doing this all in one step. It's okay if you're not. It's gonna work this way always. So again, I'm gonna have 2x plus 4y plus 6z equals 18. And then the bottom one is going to give me -2x minus 6y minus 4z equals -10. Multiply all the way through. Now what? Add straight down. So I'm going to add straight down, which means my x's are going to disappear, which is what I wanted. Now here's the spot where I would not be afraid to use my calculator if I were you. Because it's super easy to mess up signs. Okay, so sometimes looking at 4 minus 6, sometimes we say that's 2. It's actually not. So don't be afraid to use your calculator, even if it seems like, oh, I shouldn't have to use my calculator for this. Who cares? You have one. Use it. Okay, so this is going to give me -2y. This is going to be a positive 2z, and this is going to give me a positive 8. That's step 1. So what questions do you have on step 1? Yes, that is step 1. I told you they're long. This is why you only have 5 homework problems and they're not due until Monday. Okay? Because they're long. So, any questions up to here? Jessica?
What? Okay. What? When did this turn negative?
When we multiplied right here by -1.
Why?
Because these have to be the same numbers, but one has to be positive and one has to be negative in order for them to cancel out. Because if this wasn't a negative, then I would get 4, and they wouldn't actually cancel at all.
I hate this.
You see, it's quite simple.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's all negative. This whole bottom thing is negative now?
Well, because then we added straight down. So 4 minus 6 gave me -2.
So
And then
negative
6
1.
minus 4 gave me positive 2. 18 minus 10 is 8.
I think part of the problem is I can't see over there.
Oh yeah, the glare is bad.
Well, and it's just dark, like, and it's really small, so.
Okay. Oh, I thought I was writing big.
Well, you need light over
Okay,
there.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Okay. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to box that in so I can find it later. And now I'm going to do step 2, which is pick 2 new equations. Okay. So Hayden really wants us to pick the top and the bottom. Let's do it. Does it matter? No, as long as I'm not doing the same 2 equations again. First of all, it's just like it's going to mess you up, and secondly, it's way extra work that you don't need. Right? These are already huge and long. So let's pick the top and the bottom, and you will notice I'm color coding on purpose. Right? Partly to keep me organized, partly to help you see a little bit better. So now I'm going to do those. I'm going to have x plus 2y plus 3z equals 9. And x plus 4y minus z equals -5. So those are my two equations. Now what? Connor?
We were just solving.
Since the x's are the same, but they're on the same side, you wanted to multiply one on the side by -1.
Perfect, Connor, thank you. So, does it matter which one?
No.
Let's multiply the top one by -1. So that's going to give me -x minus 2y minus 3z equals -9. And then x plus 4y minus z equals -5.
Solve.
What do you mean solve? What does that mean?
You
Add straight down. There we go. Add straight down. So my x's go away. This is going to give me 2y minus 4z equals -14. If you're doing well with elimination, besides the fact that it's a lot of writing and a lot of work, the idea of elimination is still the same. Okay, we're still just getting rid of one variable. That finishes step 2. So what questions do you have before we continue? Anything? Okay.
No, it's actually because
So now
it's like this.
I'm going to take, please listen. Now I'm going to take these two equations I boxed in, and I'm going to set them up so they're just like my warm-up. And then I'm going to solve those. So I'm going to have 2y minus 4z equals -14, and -2y plus 2z equals 8. What happened? My y's cancel out right away. Oh my God, I got super lucky. That's not gonna happen every time. So right now, if I'm eliminating y, I actually don't have to multiply by anything. Because if I add straight down, those are gonna go away.
Can you multiply by 1?
You can multiply by 1 if you want to, but multiplying by 1 is gonna get you back the same exact thing. But if it makes you happy to do it, do it. Okay, I'm gonna choose not to, just because I have only one board. So I'm gonna add straight down, those cancel. I'm gonna get -2z equals -6. And so now I'm gonna end up with z equals 3. Cool. Here's one thing that I'm hoping will make you happier. Still not probably happy, but happier. On a 3x3, these bad boys, I pinky promise to everybody that all of your answers will either be whole numbers or nice fractions. So if you get partway through a problem and you get z equal to something like this, you did something wrong. Start over. Okay, I am promising you right now, I take great care in writing these things to make sure that you get a decent answer. Okay, so they will be either whole numbers, like 3, 7, -6, etc., or they will be nice fractions. And what I mean by nice fractions are like a half, 3/4, right? Like small, nice little numbers. If you get something weird, stop. Don't keep going. You're just wasting your own time. Stop, start over, or go back and see if you can find your error. Does that sound good? Do you like my pinky promise? Okay, because if these were like these, you would never know how you're doing until the very end, and that sucks. Okay? All right. So let's continue. so we got z equal to 3. Yeah, we gotta find the rest. Sorry, Emmett. We got z. Now we need to use these guys to find y, right? Either one. So I'm gonna use this one over here just because that's where I'm standing. And I'm gonna plug in 3 for z. So I have negative 2y plus 2 times 3 equals 8. I'm gonna solve for y, just like you've been doing. And I know I'm going through this fast, but so I should get y equal to negative 1. Pilar, what's up? Because I needed y and z first, so that then I have 2 things to plug into an original.
So you use what you just found.
Yes. Yeah, great question. So the reason that I didn't just plug z back into an original is because that actually wouldn't help me until I know 2 of the 3 things. So now I know 2 of the 3 things. Now I'm going to use an original equation. I'm going to plug in y and z, and I'm going to find x. Okay, so I'm just going to use the top one, just because. So I'm going to have x plus 2 times negative 1 plus 3 times 3, and that equals 9. And then just go through, and this is x minus 2 plus 9 equals 9, x plus 7 equals 9, x should equal 2. So again, nice, pretty numbers or small fractions. So my solution, I'm going to write it as a point. X is 2, y is negative 1, and z is 3. And then I'm going to check it, which means I'm going to plug those answers into all 3 equations. And I know some of you are like, I'm doing that in my calculator. I need to see it. On paper, just very quickly, 2 plus 2 times negative 1 plus 3 times 3, that should give me 9. 2 times 2 plus 6 times negative 1 plus 4 times 3, that should give me 10. And 2 plus 4 times negative 1 minus 3, that should give me negative 5. And then we just check each one of them, and if it works for all 3 equations, then we know we're good. It has to work in all 3. And I have done them before where it works in the first 2 and not the third. It's because I messed up. But if it works in all 3, you know you're golden. So key things to remember, and I'm going to wait because I know some of you are still processing this mess. Key things to remember. Go slow. Use your calculator to check even the simplest of things. Your answers will always be either whole numbers or simple fractions. And it has to work in all 3 equations for it to be right. Hayden, what's your question?
I did something differently than you did before, and I was wondering if I could check my work to see where I was wrong in it, because I got very different answers.
Okay, yes, give me just a second. What questions do you have? Because I'm about ready to give you the worksheet.
Yay.
Okay, so you have 5 homework problems. We are giving you today, tomorrow, the rest of today, which is only 20 minutes, but today, tomorrow, and Friday to work on those. And you need to start figuring out your the first quiz and start working on corrections to fix your work and see what you missed and see what you got wrong. And then we will hand back the second quiz tomorrow so that you can start going through that one as well. For the most part, the second quiz was pretty good overall. Those of you who are struggling with stuff, please, I'm begging you, please come in. Your test next Wednesday is over all the things that we've done so far. And I'll be nice and for the first test give you a review guide on Monday. Okay, won't be ready until then, but we'll do that. And then we'll talk about the test itself and all that. But just know it's coming up. Robin, what's up?
How do you plot a point with 4 dimensions?
That is a great question, and I don't think you actually can on paper. But there are 4x4s. They're fun.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm not gonna make you do them, but they're fun. They're awesome. You can look them up. They're on Google.
Are they solved similarly?
Yes, they're solved the exact same way. It's just